Picture the US economy as a twin-engine jet. On one side, the AI industrial complex, turbine, thundering ahead, devouring capital and chugging electricity like iced coffee on a hot day. This powerhouse is propelling innovation at breakneck speed, fueled by massive investments in technology that promise to reshape industries. On the other, the interest-sensitive Main Street, engine, housing, small businesses, commercial real estate, sputtering a bit under the strain of lingering high borrowing costs. Buckle up. This is Two-Speed America, where growth is uneven but undeniably dynamic. Act 1. How did America become the big one? 3 sharp beats, straight to the point. Scale forged in fire. Wartime manufacturing booms during World War II and post-war frameworks, like the GI Bill and interstate highways, created unmatched size and reliability, fostering a foundation of industrial might that still underpins global leadership today. Dollar dominance. Worldwide trade denominated in greenbacks, backed by vast capital pools in Wall Street and Treasury markets, plus rock-solid legal systems that ensure contracts are enforceable and investments secure, making the US a magnet for international funds. Innovation loop. Elite universities like Stanford and MIT feed groundbreaking research into venture funding ecosystems in Silicon Valley, leading to IPOs, mergers, and endless reinvestment cycles that have birthed giants from Apple to Tesla. This heritage is key. It fuels today's divide. The very systems bankrolling bold leaps in AI and biotech also leave rate-vulnerable areas, such as construction and retail, hanging when borrowing costs linger high, exacerbating regional disparities. Act 2. Defining the two speeds. Fast lane. Cloud giants like Meta and Google, chipmakers such as NVIDIA, power infrastructure including renewable grids, engineers specializing in AI, select factories for advanced semiconductors, CapEx-linked shipping via rail and trucking, and energy segments focused on natural gas and solar. Slow lane. Home sales churn hampered by affordability issues, downtown office districts in cities like New York and Chicago, community banks with heavy real estate exposure, borrowing heavy services like auto loans, and vulnerable consumer segments in lower-wage retail and hospitality. It's like Silicon Valley cruising on a powered treadmill, effortlessly maintaining pace amid venture influxes. While Main Street grinds up a stairmaster loaded with extra weights, struggling against economic headwinds. Act 3. The fast lane. America's AI industrial complex. 1. Capital spending. The deluge. Big tech's investments are the hidden powerhouse driving the broader narrative, acting as a multiplier for economic activity across supply chains. Microsoft is poised to pour roughly $80 billion into AI-powered data centers for FY 2025, focusing on expanding Azure's capacity to handle surging demand for machine learning workloads. Alphabet bumped its 2025 CapEx outlook to around $85 billion. Q2 alone clocked $22.4 billion amid AI and cloud expansions, including new facilities in regions like the Midwest to diversify operations. Amazon, AWS hints at a massive 2025 pace, with estimates soaring past $100 billion, aimed at building hyperscale infrastructure. In short, building out the web's next generation, from edge computing to global connectivity. This flood doesn't stop at tech. It cascades into semiconductors, electrical equipment, building crews, supply chains, and skilled workers, creating ripple effects that boost employment in tangential sectors like specialized manufacturing. 2. Power. AI's essential fuel. Electricity needs for data centers are skyrocketing. Estimates vary, but the upward trajectory is undeniable, potentially straining utilities and sparking a new era of energy innovation. Goldman Sachs forecasts a 165% jump in global data center power use by 2030 from 2023 levels, driven by the exponential growth in AI training models. U.S. outlooks range from about 200 terawatt-hours to over 1,050 terawatt-hours by 2030, highlighting uncertainties in adoption rates but confirming one truth: massive energy ramps ahead, possibly equivalent to adding several new power plants annually. Grid hurdles are becoming economic flashpoints. Transformer scarcities, with heavy reliance on imports from Asia and extended waits of up to 18 months, threaten delays and inflated prices, a stealthy choke point that could slow AI deployment. Backlogged interconnection lines. Developments languish for years due to regulatory reviews. Tweaks are underway, yet the pileup persists, prompting calls for federal streamlining. Quick aside. When growth hinges on voracious computing but grids demand endless approvals and environmental assessments, sparks fly, in the wrong way, potentially leading to innovative solutions like microgrids. 3. Manufacturing investments, echoes of IRA, chips. U.S. factory construction has eased from 2024 highs but hovers at lofty norms. Envision a sustained summit, not a drop-off, supported by government incentives that continue to attract foreign direct investment. July 2025 SAAR, about $223 billion. Forecasts predict mild tapering, but figures dwarf pre-2022 baselines, with ongoing projects in semiconductors and EVs maintaining momentum. 4. Energy. A homegrown boost. America shattered crude production records in 2024 at about 13.2 million barrels per day, exporting hefty portions of oil and liquids, net petroleum exporter annually since 2020. This buffers against global jolts like Middle East tensions and bankrolls investments across the board, while also positioning the U.S. as a key player in LNG exports to Europe. 5. Productivity and workforce. Subtle gains. Labor output climbed 2.3% in 2024, quickening to up 3.3% SAAR in Q2 2025, solid for an advanced economy facing demographic shifts. Immigration has swelled populations and workforces in booming cities like Austin and Atlanta, smoothing recruitment snags in tech and construction, and helping to moderate wage pressures. Fast lane wrap. Capital, processing power, and energy are multiplying forces, creating a virtuous cycle of innovation. That's the motor revving at peak speed, potentially lifting long-term GDP potential. Act 4. The slow lane. Interest-sensitive America. 1. Jobs and expansion. A soft slowdown. Unemployment hit 4.3% by August 2025, with employment gains slashed by about 911,000 in revisions for March 2024 to March 2025, hinting the job market was looser than it appeared, particularly in cyclical industries like leisure. Growth tempered in early 2025 versus 2024's robust 2.8% annual real GDP, per BEA, reflecting a normalization after post-pandemic rebounds. 2. Housing. Easing rates, lingering burdens. 30-year mortgages averaged about 6.26% in mid-September, off peaks, but still crimping budgets and moves in markets like California and Florida. Outcome. Tepid transactions, wide margins, and entrenched, lock-in mindsets among homeowners with sub-4% rates, which suppresses inventory and prolongs affordability crises. 3. Commercial property. Offices in crisis. Q2 2025 office emptiness reached a record about 20.7%, squeezing values and stressing regional lenders with exposure to maturing loans. Even here, duality reigns. Warehouse and data center spaces thrive amid e-commerce booms. Classic downtown towers? Not so much, as hybrid work models persist post-COVID. 4. Consumers. Sturdy overall, strained selectively. August retail jumped 0.6% monthly and 5.0% yearly, online leading with platforms like Shopify, but New York Fed stats flag rising delinquencies in credit cards and auto loans. Dual narratives. Affluent buyers keep going on luxury goods. Lower earners navigate tighter finances amid persistent food and energy costs. 5. Small firms. Upbeat, but guarded. NFIB sentiment perked up in August, though talent shortages top concerns in skilled trades. Lending doors aren't barred, but expenses and unknowns still sting, especially with supply chain disruptions lingering from global events. Slow lane essence. High rates did their job, tempering widespread activity and slamming housing, offices, and debt-reliant zones hardest, though this cooling helps prevent overheating elsewhere. Act 5. The middle lane. Inflation, rates, and the referee. Inflation. July headline PCE up 2.6% yearly, core up 2.9%. Advances made, but target not fully hit, with shelter and services still contributing to stickiness. Fed's move. A 25 BP trim on September 17, dropping Fed funds to 4% to 4.25%, framed as precautionary against downside risks, not celebratory amid global uncertainties. Deficits and debt service. CBOIs, about $1.9 trillion FY 2025 shortfall. Interest burdens mount over years, subtly pressuring long-term yields and maneuver room, while crowding out potential private investments. For listeners, prices are chilling, not frozen, easing underway, but caution prevails given geopolitical tensions. Act 6. So what exactly is two-speed America? It's one nation split. Big tech, utilities, and targeted factories gobble resources and drive efficiency gains through automation. Meanwhile, home flips, outdated offices, and borrowing-based locals limp, readjust, or overhaul amid shifting consumer behaviors. Visualize a barbell. End A. Chips, power stations, transformers, transmission cables, specialized machinery, heavy haul transport, and the experts behind them, all converging to support the digital economy. End B. Escrow firms, office outfitters for emptying spaces, rate-tied neighborhood ops, modest builders, and lenders rejigging portfolios to adapt to new realities. This divide isn't disaster, it's resource reshuffling, chaotic, patchy, and quintessentially US, echoing past transitions like the shift from manufacturing to services. Act 7. What could close the gap? 1. Accelerate energy flow. Hasten grid hookups, boost transformer output domestically, and streamline transmission permits to reduce bottlenecks. Groups like PJM test AI aids for forecasting, FERC's batch processing aids, but delivery is crucial to unlocking renewable integration. 2. Housing fixes. Ease zoning restrictions in suburbs, cut hidden fees like impact charges, promote dense builds in urban areas, quicken nods. Rate drops assist. Unlocking stock and movement counts more, as demographic shifts demand more flexible housing. 6% plus loans don't spell relief with scarce supply. 3. Talent streams. Immigration has bolstered workers in hotspots like tech hubs. Preserving legal routes, including H-1B visas, maintains momentum without wage spikes, while upskilling programs could bridge gaps. 4. Encourage investments. Budget realities loom with entitlement pressures. Amid hefty shortfalls and climbing interest, steady regs and tax incentives keep private funds pouring in, avoiding fiscal cliffs. 5. Safeguard finance. Private lending tops $1.3 trillion in the U.S., exploding 5 times since the crisis. It spreads sources but relocates hazards. Oversight must evolve to monitor shadow banking risks without stifling growth. Act 8. Scenarios in plain English. Smooth descent. Prices dip further amid supply chain normalization. Fed trims rates twice more. AI spending roars on. Homes loosen slightly with lower borrowing, aiding mobility. Expansion eases but steers clear of halt, supported by export strength. Overheated builds, chilled infrastructure. AI and repatriated plants crave energy quicker than grids provide, exacerbated by permitting delays. Projects drag, costs swell, service inflation lingers in areas like healthcare. Gear down. Jobs fade quicker in manufacturing. Spending chills from consumer caution. Fed slashes deeper. Slow sectors pull overall growth under trend before fast lane boosts, like AI efficiencies, kick in to stabilize. Punchy. You didn't know, nuggets. In 2024, the U.S. shipped out over half its crude and natural gas plant liquids amid peak oil output, far from the 2008 dependency era, when imports dominated energy policy. America turned net petroleum exporter yearly from 2020 onward, a built-in buffer against economic turbulence, reducing vulnerability to OPEC decisions. A hidden snag in the AI surge: power transformers. Without voltage boosts, those data centers are just pricey shells, highlighting supply chain vulnerabilities in critical tech. 2. Speed. America isn't a glitch, it's evolution in a globalized world. One side constructs tomorrow with cutting-edge tools, the other wrestles reality amid adaptation. Policymakers and investors face a tough brief: fuel the leaders, clear jams like regulatory hurdles, and soften the laggards with targeted support. Stay curious, stay sharp.